Hi grade 9s, welcome back to another one of our video lessons. So today we're going to continue with constructions on topic 12, which is on page 106. Okay, so this is continuation of geometry. So here we're not going to be solving for various angles. We're actually going to be drawing these angles and lines and perpendicular lines and bisectors and so forth. Okay. So we're going to begin on page 106. We're going to go through some important results that we learned last year. So we're going to recap a little bit. And then I'm going to take you through a few constructions that we're going to learn how to do certain things. So when I ask you in test to draw me line AB and bisect it and something else, you'll be able to do it. Okay, right, so let's begin. So we start with a protractor, guys. I'm sure all of you know what a protractor is. So a protractor is, so let me get another pen. Okay, so a protractor is a device or a tool that we use to measure angles. Okay, so it looks something like that, and it's got different markings on the circumference of the protractor. Okay, and it has one scale running from left to right, and we have another scale going from right to left. Okay, and then it looks something like that. So what we do is, if we want to measure a particular angle, let's say there's a line that's like that, okay, and we have an angle that's doing that. Okay, so we have an angle, let's call it angle alpha. Okay, all right, let me not blow your mind with alpha, let's call it angle A. All right, so if we want to measure this angle A, what do? We place the protractor at the vertex of the angle. Okay, it's where the two arms of the angle meet. So we put the center of the protractor there, and we line up the bottom line of the protractor with one of the arms. Okay, so this bottom piece is exactly in line with the angle. Okay, then what we do, from the flat piece, we go find the scale that starts at a 0, not at 180, because it starts from 0 and goes that way to 180, and then starts at 0 here and goes that way to 180. Okay, so you must make sure you're starting at 0, and as you open up your angle, your degrees increase. So if I put my pen over here and I start at 0 and I start opening up, I start going across the protractor, and I go 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever degrees. Let's say this is 38 degrees. Okay. So, and that's how we read the angle. If you guys make a mistake and you read on the other side and you actually get not, let's say this is 40 degrees, right? So on the other scale, remember it's 180 this way, 180 that way. So whatever number we have here, that number plus the other scale number will always add up to 180. So the other number will be 140 degrees. Okay. So let's say now you pick the wrong number and you say, oh, it's 140 degrees. What you should check is that whether 140 is an acute or an obtuse angle. We know an angle of 140 degrees is an obtuse angle, so it opens up more than 90. Okay, but here we have an acute angle. So obviously this angle over here is the 40, okay, and this angle over here is the 140. Do you see? So from here, from there that way is 140, and from here to there is 40, and that makes a total of 180. So don't be tempted to read off the wrong value, because it's obviously the wrong angle. Okay, cool. So that's the protractor. Now let's look at some angle properties. So I'm reading on page 106. So it says angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. Yes, remember, any angles on a straight line, that if we add them all up together, we're going to get 180 degrees. Angles in a triangle, and that is any triangle, always add up to 180 degrees. Okay. So that's that. If two angles add up to 180 degrees, they are called supplementary. If angles add up to 90 degrees, they are called complementary. Okay, so supplementary is 180, complementary is 90. All right, angles in a revolution add up to 360 degrees. Well, that makes sense. Remember, a straight line has 180 degrees. So if from here to there, is 180, well, then from there to there is another 180. But if we go all the way around, well, that's 360. 180 plus 180 is 360. All right, vertically opposite angles are equal. Okay, remember vert-op angles like that. So if they're vertically opposite, they are equal. And obviously, we need to know the results that we learned from the previous chapter with alt angles, co-interior, and corresponding angles. Okay, cool, guys. So now we're going to go to constructing perpendicular lines, which is the first worked example. So I'm going to work with you with these constructions. Guys, the idea here is that you do need to try this. You can't sit and watch me do it and pretend like you understood and you know what's going on. You need to sit there and measure it out and get used to doing these things. Okay, so let's start with number one. It says construct line AB, which is 8 centimeters, and then construct the perpendicular bisector of AB. Okay, a bisector is something that cuts something in half. Okay, so if I want to bisect this pen, I'm going to cut it exactly in half, or actually like that, so make it exactly in half. All right, so we want a perpendicular means at 90 degrees. So we have a line AB, so let's draw a line. There it is, A, B. Right, and they tell us this line is 8 centimeters. Okay, so you guys are going to measure out 8 centimeters, draw this line, label it AB. Cool. Now we want to construct a perpendicular bisector. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to now place a compass at A. Okay, so I'm going to pretend that, so one needle point goes into the compass, into the page over here at A, and this is my pencil. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up more than halfway. Okay, once I open it up more than halfway, I'm going to keep it at that distance, and I'm going to make a mark over here and a mark over there. All right, so put it in A, the compass point, needle point, and then make half an arc there and half an arc there. Okay, now keeping the same distance of the compass, you're going to do the same from the other side. You're going to put the needle point in here, and keeping it at the same distance as the previous arc, we're going to make another mark like that and another mark like that. Okay, so you got two arcs crossing there, two arcs crossing there. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to take a ruler and you're going to connect the 2 points that are crossing over like that. Okay, so kind of like that. All right, and that should be exactly halfway between A and B. Okay, I know it doesn't look like on mine because I don't really have a ruler or a protractor that I can use, but there we go. All right, guys, so that's now bisecting AB in exactly half. What you can even do is try to measure this distance and see what you get. You should get 4 centimeters and 4 centimeters. Okay. Right, guys, if you didn't understand that or you want to run through it again, obviously you can watch the video again, or you can look at the example and go through each step by step. Okay, so step 1, draw a line longer than 8 centimeters and then measure the length of the line and mark the endpoints clearly. Okay, so basically what they're saying is draw it a little bit further and mark A and B. Okay, but really it's the same thing. Okay, so let's continue. We've done a perpendicular bisector of AB. Okay, just to recap again, all that we did is we opened our compass more than halfway, so somewhere half, maybe 3/4 of the way, and you make an arc, one arc there, one arc here. Flip it around, do the same, join the two crosses, and we have our perpendicular bisector. Okay, cool, guys. Let's go to the next page. Now what they're saying is construct line PQ, which is 6 centimeters, and then construct a perpendicular line at Q. So now we have PQ, which is 6 centimeters. Okay, so this is my P and Q. P and Q, and they say it is 6 centimeters and we want a perpendicular line at Q. Okay, so essentially we want a perpendicular line going through Q over here. Okay. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw this PQ line a little bit further. Okay, so I'm going to just extend it a little bit more there. So this is still 6 centimeters and I've just extended the line a little bit further. Now what we're going to do is we're going to place the sharp end of the compass at Q and draw equal arcs across the line on opposite sides of Q. Right, so what I'm doing is I'm placing my needle point at Q, I'm opening up my compass, and I'm making a mark here and a mark there. Okay, so I'm placing my compass point there, opening it up, making mark, mark. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to call these 2 points A and B. All right. Now what we're going to do next is place the sharp end of the compass at A and draw equal arcs above and below the line. Move the end of the compass to B and draw 2 more arcs so that they intersect first set of arcs at C and D. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're going to place our compass point at A. We're going to open up our compass maybe to B or a little bit further, but the point is that we're going to make a mark over there like that. Okay, we're going to open it up, make a mark, and we're going to do the same over there. Okay, so we put our needle point at A, open the compass, make an arc above, make an arc below. Now we're going to keep that distance of the compass as we had, and we're going to stick our needle at B, and at that same distance we're going to make an arc there and an arc there. Okay. Now we're going to join the 2 intersection points through Q, and that should be exactly perpendicular, which is 90 degrees. Okay, so let's run through that again. So we measure our line PQ, which is 6 centimeters. We extend the line a little bit. Then what I do is I put my needle point at Q, open it up some distance, not too far, like maybe if this is 6 centimeters, maybe open it up 1.5, 2 centimeters, and make a mark at A, make a mark at B. So the same distance there and there. Then take your needle compass, put it at A, open up your needle or open up your compass so that you can make an arc above and below. Okay, don't make your arc too small. It's obviously got to be bigger than this distance. So just open it up and make it somewhere here. So there's my arc, there's another arc. Keeping the same distance as you had, flip your compass around, put the needle point at B, and make the same marks on the other side. And that should create the 2 intersections that we have over there. All right, guys, so that's how we make a perpendicular bisector or perpendicular line at a particular point. So remember the previous one, we had a line and we cut it exactly in half. Now we have a line and we want to make a perpendicular line exactly at that point. Okay. Right, so that is now example 2. Let's continue. Let's get to example 3. All right. Example 3 says, drop a perpendicular from B to the line PQ. All construction lines must be clearly shown. Okay, so we have some line PB or PQ, what is it? PQ, and we have a point B. Okay, so there's my line PQ, and I have a point B over here. Okay, so what they want us to do is they want us to draw a perpendicular line to PQ like that. Okay, so now without obviously using a protractor, we can do this using a compass. Okay, so step 1, place the sharp end of the compass accurately on point B and then draw an arc which crosses PQ in 2 different places. Name the points M and N. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to, let me move my point B a little bit because it's going to make things a little bit difficult. Okay, let me put it over there. Okay, so what they're saying is that place your needle point at B, open up your compass further than this line, and make 2 marks so that you are cutting your PQ in 2 places. So I'm going to make an arc there and an arc there. Okay, so I've made my 2 arcs. This one is a little bit too far. Let's make it closer. Okay, so I've opened up my B. I put my compass needle point in B, opened up my compass, made a mark there, made a mark there. Right, let's continue. Oh yeah, and we need to call these points N and M. Okay. Actually, they draw a whole arc, but let's do what they do. Right, place the end of the compass accurately on point M and then draw an arc on the opposite side of the line to B. Okay, so what they're saying now is put your needle compass point at M and draw a line, an arc opposite B. So B is here, we want to draw an arc here. So we're going to place our needle point at M. We're going to open up our compass and we're going to draw an arc like that. Okay. Now, keeping the same distance, we're going to now flip it around, put the needle point at N, and keeping it the same distance, I'm going to draw another arc that's doing that. Okay. Right. That's P and that's Q, N and M. Right, so this intersection is now going to be almost like a bisector, but remember, we don't want a bisector, we only want one piece, okay? So, or actually, do we want a bisector? Draw a perpendicular from B to line PQ, okay? Well, they said to line PQ, but what we do is we place our ruler, we line these 2 points up, and we draw a straight line like that. They drew it all the way down, but the question said draw a perpendicular from B to PQ. So I'm not going to draw it further, but basically I'll put a dotted line here just to show you that that's where you're lining up your ruler with. Okay. Okay, guys, so that is now the next construction. Okay. I'm going to stop there for now. So what I want you to do is practice drawing these constructions, okay? So go through these examples and try different measurements. So whatever measurement they give you, try a different measurement, okay? Try something else. See if you can recreate the same thing as they've done it, okay? And then next lesson, we're going to continue with constructing angles. And once we are done that, we're going to get to exercise 12.1. All right, cool, guys. I think that's fine for today. I'll see you in our next lesson and in the Skype video lecture. Thanks, guys.